Hello everyone. Today we are going to see about labor cost, idle time and overtime. First we move with labor cost. If you take any kind of manufacturing unit or service organization, labors and employees are main aspects because one part machine, another part employees are laborers. They play huge role in terms of everything happening in a particular organization. So labor cost is about how much you are paying to the laborers. Laborers contribute to the company, they spend their time and energy. So they spend their time and energy. For that, we need to give adequate compensation for that. So for the time and energy they spent, we provide some compensation. That compensation is known as wages or labor cost. Simply remuneration paid to the workers by the business unit. That is called labor cost. Sometimes we can also call employee cost. The labor cost is important because how much effort a particular labor put, it impacts on the productivity of particular organization. When the productivity decrease, then it will increase the labor cost. At the same time, when the productivity increase, the labor cost will decrease. So here, the labor cost play major role, determine many aspects in a particular company. There are two primary aspects we have under labor cost. We can categorize labors into direct labor and indirect labor. Direct labor is a person who directly engage to produce a particular product or service. We can call him as a direct labor. Okay. Then indirect labor. Indirect labor means this person, they never directly engage regarding producing a product or service. It simply helps all the direct labors. If you take furniture manufacturing company, a particular labor work or do some kind of work to make a furniture, we can call him as a direct labor. Indirect labor means those kind of labor, they support, they help the person who is making that furniture. So direct labor, they directly involve or engage in the particular process. Indirect labor, they support direct labor to make the particular job. Next, we move to idle time. Idle time is nothing but time for which the particular employee or labor paid, but no production is obtained. They are in the factory or they are in the workplace. For the time they being there, they have been paid, but no production is attained. Then we can call that time as a idle time. There are a number of factors for idle time. Simply the difference between time paid for and time actually spent on production. For example, particular labor enter at 8 hours in the morning to the factory, then he leaves at evening 5 p.m. So imagine how much time he has spent in the factory, morning 8 to evening 5 p.m. But he never spent the whole time only for production. There may be some idle time. Then simply there is no production. He is in the factory, but no work. So for that also company supposed to pay. So that time we can call it idle time. Salary or wages paid, but no work from the employee or labor. That we can call it as idle time. So we have to control over idle time through effective measures. Normally, idle time we can categorize under two criteria. First one is normal idle time. Second one is abnormal idle time. So regarding normal idle time, it is unavoidable. It's part and parcel of day-to-day activities of the particular factory or unit. You cannot avoid totally. You may avoid certain extent. Okay, for example, the employee may be signed at the factory gates, they put attendance, then they walk through. Or they may go from one department to another department, one unit to another unit. In these times, there will be no production, but still they will be paid. There are a lot of factors cause for that. They move from one job to another job, or they may waiting for tools, or they may waiting for the instruction from the particular superior or supervisor. Maybe some small power failures, power breakdown, or sometimes due to some machine breakdown, or you don't have certain tools to do the particular operation. So these kind of things, you can control these effectively, but it cannot avoid it totally. So these are called normal idle time. Second one, abnormal idle time. Abnormal idle time arises due to the reason no way connected with usual routine. It's not usual thing, it's unusual, it's happened rarely. Okay, it may be lockouts, or sometime the employee may already came, but there will be shortage of raw material, or strikes. In this occasion, especially you can take it strike and lockouts, it happen very rarely. In some occasion, even though they go for strike and lockout, after resolving everything, the company is supposed to pay to the laborers. So this causes to abnormal idle time. Next, the causes of idle time. What are the factors may cause? There are three major causes we have: administrative cause, productive cause, and economic cause. Administrative cause. It arises out of administrative decision. The decisions taken by administration, it cause for idle time. You can take the depression time. When there is a depression in economy, people won't buy all the products very often. So there will be no production in the unit, but still the employees will be there because you don't want to lose your employees. For example, you already trained your laborers for some work. Due to depression, there will be no production, but still you don't want to fire them. You don't want to lose them, because if you lose them, you have to, then next you have to recruit another employee or labor, then you have to train them, it costs high. So depression time, you can take COVID pandemic is the best example. In some manufacturing units, even though they pay salary, certain amount of salary or wages, but there will be no full production happening. The reason is, in this kind of depression time or recession time, most of the people struggling for money. So they only go for basic needs. They never think about other aspects. So when a manufacturing unit producing other than basic needs, they don't have production every day, maybe because of the situation. So it costs. So administration decide to keep the employees and laborers. So without doing any work, they're supposed to pay. So it costs to idle time, administrative decisions. And second one, productive decision. Productive cost is about breakdown of machine or power failures, or maybe we may wait for raw materials or tools when the things happen in connection with production. When you're manufacturing something, any problems or issues make or create idle time, that we can come under productive causes. And third one, economic costs, simply fall in demand for your product. So some kind of product, they may be seasonal products. Okay, so those kind of products, they only have demand in the particular season, or sometimes due to economical reasons or some other factors, your product may lose the demand. It also causes to rise idle time, because when there is no demand in the market, you're supposed to reduce the production. So these are the major three factors cause for idle time. Next, overtime. So overtime is nothing but work done by an employee beyond normal working hours. Usually 48 hours in a week is usually considered as normal working hour. If anyone work beyond that, it is called overtime under the Factories Act. So when a worker work beyond the normal working hour, we can call it as a overtime. For that, the company need to pay additional. Usually, the wages for overtime is double than normal working hour. For example, for normal working hour, if someone receives 100 rupees per hour means for overtime work hour, it will be doubled. So overtime is about you are working beyond normal working hours. It costs more cost to the company, but sometimes they need overtime workers to achieve the target, to produce more aspects. What are the disadvantages of overtime work? First, it leads to excessive labor cost because you have to make double payment. Payment will be double. So it leads to overcost or excessive cost. Then second one is it deteriorates labor productivity because under overtime you pay mostly on timely basis. If someone work 2 hours extra, you have to pay. So the laborers always thought to how much time they are working. They never think too much about quality of the products. Because if I work 1 hour, they pay this much. So they only concentrate about timing. So it may decrease their efficiency regarding productivity. Then third one is about it affects the health of workers. To get money, some workers may would like to do overtime work every day. So every day you take overtime, so you may get more money, but it affects your health. That's the third disadvantage. It creates a lot of other consequences for both labor and employer. The next one, it causes to high wear and tear. Plant and machinery. For certain group of workers, they do overtime. For them, we operate the machinery. Even it gives less productivity, it causes high wear and tear. Then next one is about it escalates factory overhead. For example, in a factory there are 1,000 employees or laborers are working. Among them, only 50 would like to do overtime work. For those 50, we have to put lighting and we have to use electricity. So it increases your overhead cost. Because only for 50 we use the entire electricity, the entire lighting, depending upon the particular product. So it increases your cost of the product. And finally, create discontent among workers because it causes to uneven distribution of particular amount they receive. Okay, for example, even for the work time, for some employee they get 2 hours overtime. Some employees may get 3 hours overtime. Some employee may get 1 hour. So between employees, they may get different overtime hours. So the payment will be different. It creates some discontent among the workers. So these are the disadvantages of overtime work. And next, control over the overtime work. How can we control the overtime work? The first thing is overtime is not allowed when normal output is not achieved. So a normal output, usually when an employee working in a normal working hour, they have to achieve certain amount of output. Once they achieve that output, then only they are allowed to go for overtime work. When we have that kind of control mechanism, we can control overtime hours. Then second one, there will be some competent authority. They analyze the situation for providing overtime. When they satisfied with the particular employee regarding everything, then only they will be providing overtime work for the particular employee. So the particular authority will be there. They will analyze everything. When the employee or labor request for overtime, when they justify everything, then only the overtime work will be provided. Then the rate of output achieved during the overtime should compare with output achieved in the normal time. Because normal time, some employees, if for example normal time per hour they produce 10 product means in overtime also they're supposed to produce 10 products. So how much product during the normal working hour they are making. At the same time, how much output they are giving at the overtime. It should be compared and measured to control over the overtime work. And next, there should be some upper limit, higher limit for overtime fixed. For example, maximum of 3 hours allowed. You should not allow more than that for any employees. So it's another way you can control over overtime. Then finally, whatever the thing happening in connection with overtime work, how much output they are producing, how much overtime they are spending, how much amount they receive because of overtime, and all other expenses in connection with overtime, all those things should be sent to the top management in the form of report. Based on that, they may take corrective action to control over overtime work. So these are the aspects to control over overtime work. Thank you.